What do you make of this latest headline around McConnell and Moore?
Well, look, there's no good solutions. There's no good options here in a lot of ways for Senate Republicans. The challenge is if Roy Moore somehow manages to get elected, how do you keep him from being seated? How do you find a replacement for him? There is a possibility they could try and pursue the write-in route. It's always very difficult to have a write-in candidate win an election. And then another option would be potentially to ask Alabama's governor, who's a Republican, to move back the election date one more time. I think that creates political liabilities all its own. So I think Senator McConnell is right to explore options because, quite frankly, Roy Moore is more trouble than any Republican wants to deal with right now, and he certainly should not be seated as a United States Senator.
Yeah, there are his hardcore supporters back home in Alabama who would argue that this is a conspiracy by mainstream establishment Republicans and Democrats as well, and the liberal media. All of that aside, you talked about political liabilities. What kind of blowback would there be if McConnell does get his way and, for instance, installs Jeff Sessions as the senator for Alabama once again, or they pursue this write-in candidate possibility?
I think there has been a long simmering tension within the Republican Party. You've seen it bubble over at various points between, the so-called Bannon wing of the party and the establishment wing of the party. I think that really a lot of this tension is developing because the Republican agenda hasn't moved faster on Capitol Hill. There's frustration about the failure on Obamacare. There's frustration about the fact that they haven't gotten very much done. Now, I tend to think that once they get tax reform done, when they actually go forward and move their agenda a little bit more, some of this tension will subside. But there's no question this is a very perilous time for the party.